Howdy folks, it's the 4th week of April 2025, and welcome to This Week in the West. I'm Seth Spillman, broadcasting from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. On this podcast, we share stories of the people and events that shaped the history, art, and culture of the American West, and those still shaping it today. In 1898, a 16-year-old cowboy wandered around Mineral Wells, Texas, searching for work. The Army rejected him, deeming him too young and skinny to enlist and fight in the Spanish-American War. But the editor of the Mineral Wells newspaper noticed the kid's booming voice and hired him to stand outside the publication's office and announce the headlines. Seems in 19th century Texas, town crier was still a real job. The boy's voice was so loud that he got the nickname Foghorn, and it stuck. For decades to come, Foghorn Clancy's announcing at rodeo arenas around the country helped raise the sport's profile. Today we remember Clancy, a member of the National Rodeo Hall of Fame, on the week of his death, April 28, 1957. Frederick Melton Clancy was born April 4, 1882 in Phoenix City, Alabama. His father died when he was just over a year old, and his mother remarried a Texas rancher a few years later. The family moved to the Lone Star State. Clancy started working on the ranch as soon as he could ride, and by age 14, he thought himself enough of a cowboy to strike out on his own. In a couple of years, he'd made it as far as Mineral Wells and took that crier job. He needed another path in life. He thought that path was as a rodeo champion, but at his first competition in San Angelo, Texas, Clancy's attempt at riding broncs lasted only a few seconds. Watching the team get up from the dirt, the event promoter figured there was no room for the young cowboy in the sport. But that voice, the foghorn, changed Clancy's life. The promoter asked Clancy to be his announcer, and a 6-decade career was born. Clancy quickly became the preeminent voice of rodeo, announcing at major events such as the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the Cheyenne Frontier Days, and Madison Square Garden's annual rodeo. Before public address systems, Clancy's powerful voice carried across vast arenas, ensuring every spectator could hear the action. Ferd Browning, an Associated Press sports writer, spent time with Foghorn at a 1941 Madison Square Garden rodeo and wrote, "The 200-pound Foghorn is a sort of chief statistician and publicity drumbeater for the rodeo." Clancy pointed out the bucking broncos, saying, "You know they're the descendants of Coronado's horses. They were big, bred to carry a man wearing full armor. He turned them loose instead of taking them back, and they roamed the prairies wild for centuries." According to Browning, Foghorn spent his time at the rodeo booed up against the railing, tamping tobacco into a pipe and telling wild tales about the origin of every animal in Cowboy. Clancy worked alongside legendary rodeo producers such as Jim Askew, Tex Austin, and Guy Wiedeck. He would arrive in town weeks ahead of a rodeo, building anticipation through newspaper articles and personal appearances, guaranteeing a packed audience for each performance. In 1911, while announcing at the Kansas State Fair, Clancy introduced President William Howard Taft to a crowd of 60,000. The president, impressed by Clancy's vocal prowess, quipped, "If I possessed the voice of your announcer, you might all hear me as clearly as you heard him." Beyond his role in rodeo promotion and announcing, Clancy became the sport's first historian. He was a prolific writer, contributing articles to numerous publications and documenting the evolution of the sport. In 1921, he published Foghorn Clancy's Roundup, Stampede, and Cowboy Sports Guide, a comprehensive book of rodeo statistics. He later edited Rodeo Romances, a magazine that captured the excitement of the rodeo world. His most notable work, My 50 Years in Rodeo, Living with Cowboys, Horses, and Danger, was published in 1952 and remains an invaluable resource for historians studying the early days of rodeo. 3 copies of the first edition of Foghorn's work are in the Dickinson Research Center here at the Cowboy. We're also home to the Rodeo Historical Society. Over the years, Clancy formed close friendships with many legendary figures, including Will Rogers and Gene Autry. Rogers, known for his wit and charm, often joined Clancy in the announcer's booth, sharing laughs and cowboy camaraderie. Despite his many successes, Clancy faced hardships, particularly during the Great Depression. His attempt to produce his own Wild West show, the Bar C Wild West Show, ended in financial ruin. As rodeos transitioned to using public address systems, the demand for his signature voice declined. However, Clancy adapted by focusing on writing and documenting the sport's history, ensuring that rodeo's early days would not be forgotten. In his later years, Clancy worked primarily in the eastern United States. He and his wife Alice, affectionately known as Mother Clancy within the rodeo community, raised 5 children, often while traveling from one event to the next. Frederick Melton Foghorn Clancy died on April 28, 1957. In 1991, he was posthumously inducted into the National Rodeo Hall of Fame here at the Cowboy. And with that, we'll make the final announcement on another episode of This Week in the West. Our show is written and produced by Mike Kaler. Follow us and rate us on Apple Podcasts, wherever you hear us. That'll help us reach more people. You can follow us on social media and online at nationalcowboymuseum.org. Got a question or a suggestion? Drop us an email at podcast@nationalcowboymuseum.org. We leave you today with the words of Foghorn Clancy, describing a rodeo in an article for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram in 1945. After Sunday night, the nearly 200 contestants will scatter to different parts of the country. Some back to their war jobs, some back to their ranches, others on to other rodeos, some squandering the prize money they've won, others using theirs to stock their own little ranches, while others who failed to collect any prize money but collected a big share of bumps and bruises will in a manner be licking their wounds and getting ready for another try at the prize money of some other rodeo. Much obliged for listening, and remember, come find your West here at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum.